As Aline mentioned, there will be additional practitioners at the back of the room tomorrow. So tonight, would the people who are tending to lurk back there bring your mats forward? It's really helpful to the teaching team to be able to distinguish between us and them. So if you can leave kind of the whole back row clear and really be forward of the pillars, that space will be probably pretty well chock-a-block. The other puzzling thing is that on Friday there was a small white ice block in the milk bag which has vanished. You know, a freezer block thing. There's a big blue one there now, which is not ours. So if anybody has an idea where the white one went, could you let us know, please? It's mine. Okay, so the other day we started, or we returned to your hypothetical students, and you began to talk about some of the logistical issues. And I'd like to just take a few moments to kind of check in with you about where you went with your thinking on how would you choose a venue? What kind of criteria would you use? Do you automatically assume that you're going to start in your lounge room, or you're going to go and hire the local hall, or what were the sorts of things that you thought about?
Well, we had a singing teacher, and we said the people she was teaching might still be at school, so we were thinking if they're already at school, rather than having their parents take them from school to a different venue, if we could use the school space. That was one thing we thought of. And the other thing we thought of was finding a space that was like a stage to practice being in that kind of environment was something she would be teaching them.
Okay, so that you could help them make the transition from what they learn on the floor to
being in an audience stage environment.
Okay. Okay, what about the other groups?
We did the school teacher one, so we were also thinking like school hall or something. But the kind of basic things we thought of was just a quiet environment, so where there's not too much noise, and also good climate, so air conditioning and heating, so that people are comfortable and And the surface, we were talking about, so either having carpet or having mats available, somewhere that has mats available.
Sure.
Well.
So sometimes if you're in a school environment, they might have gym mats or something similar that could be used. Right? What about the other groups? What were the sorts of things you thought about?
We had old people, or, seniors, sorry.
Seniors is the correct term, I think. Yep.
Elder senior. And so we said things like community centre, where they already offer such things like that, like Pilates or Tai Chi or whatever. Retirement villages often have a space where people can go to do that type of exercise stuff as well. So anywhere that type of thing already usually happens. Bridge club, community centre, sports centre.
Are you allowed to move the tables in the bridge club? Yeah. Oh, good. In one part.
Yeah, so you can move the tables. Or you can do seated ones, so you just sit them at the tables.
Little squares from the table. Okay, so, sometimes with our best planning, we make some assumptions that, there's this space and we'll just shove those things out of the way. and you can be startled by the reaction. Or you find you're doing it all yourself. You've got to shift everything and put it all back exactly where it was because the clientele are not fit or able or willing to help you with that. So checking out some of those things. Margaret?
Public transport.
Public transport's accessibility.
Yeah, we were using older people in our group, and we thought maybe they wouldn't be driving themselves. So if it was near a tram, we're in North Balwyn, by the way. So they've all got seniors cards, and if it's in the daytime, and so there were more availability in cheaper venues at that time of day also. So we were thinking of the costs of that, as well as accessibility for our clients.
Cool. Did anyone else think about price? What did you think?
Well, different areas will be different prices because the cost of renting will be different. So we just said, look at what is currently offered at wherever and make it an applicable type of fee.
Okay, so there's the cost of actually hiring the venue, but there's the cost, the price that people are used to paying to come to that place that may well influence their expectations. Right.
If you're using a community centre or a local council, like local councils have lots of spaces that they rent out to people, and if you look on the council website, then they'll often show you lots of options that they've got in their council and what they cost.
They will. Great. Any other issues that might be significant in terms of your class? Marissa.
Sorry, this wasn't for us, but I was just thinking for the oldies, like accessibility as far as steps and stairs and things like that. So, or if you've got people with pain and that kind of thing, they might not be able to go up 5 steps to get into the venue and that kind of thing. So, flat sort of access to the building.
I'm not sure for the elders group whether there was also consideration for seated ATMs, whether they can actually get onto the floor.
Having some chairs available can be handy. However, once you've taught them to do a lesson on the floor, they like lying on the floor, thank you very much.
They see it as an achievement.
No, they just like lying down. And if you say we're doing a seated lesson today or a standing lesson today, they'll moan and groan. For the record, Margaret is advising us not to be seduced by our customers. And that's very sound advice. But some people can be quite persuasive. So it's a case of being prepared. It's probably good in your early series to include a variety of positions and, you know, chairs and floor so that people learn that that's part of the method. Back to Deborah. Yeah, having some lessons seated and some on the floor. It's all good.
Just going back to, say, the elderly clients, maybe you can hire a community bus or something. Some of the, say, RSL clubs or councils or something might provide those for free to bus the people from a certain place to that community club or something. Provide
That's
that as
probably
a service.
getting into a bigger project where you're working cooperatively with some community organisation to offer
but
a
if
program.
maybe you've got more than 10 of them going as a group from a nursing home, I don't know, whatever. Or what? Retirement village or something, and you could maybe organise that with the village or something, the retirement village or something. I think
one of the things to check if you're thinking of doing seated lessons, whether it's in a hall with any kind of group or whether you decide that you might want to go and offer something in a nursing home is to check out the nature of the chairs. Are they vast kind of soft armchairs, in which case nobody can move at all? Or are they plastic kind of basket cup chair things that are really uncomfortable and have a lip so that they're not nice to sit on? So, one with a flat seat and no arms. The red ones here aren't too bad, actually. The seat is fairly flat. The back's less of an issue because to do a lesson you want people usually sitting a little forward, away from the back. And if the back's there that they can then rest on later, that's all very fine. Okay, did we only have 2 groups?
I'm just catching up, but how about a venue where other practices might mean you get some cross-referral?
Mm-hmm. It's always nice to generate some interest from other people.
I was just going to say, I'm the departments and now we're thinking there's a new one going up at home.
Retirement apartments.
Apartments, and so these are like your 55 plus. They're still fairly mobile before they're actually going into nursing homes. So that's a really good captive market in Melbourne is. Oh, incredibly. Oh, but yeah, no, that's what I mean though. So not just nursing homes, yeah. But they've got amazing spaces like gyms and stuff.
Yes.
Upstairs, and yeah. Also gyms. Oh, yeah.
So Mark wants us to go into gyms. Next to CrossFit. Okay, which kind of leads us into the second half of this worksheet you had the other day. And some of you started going there and some of you didn't get there yet. And how do we make the connection between the people in the CrossFit studio or the nursing home or the retirement village or wherever it is and their desire to come and try what we want to offer?
Talk to them.
Yeah, you could pot around and chat to them. You may need permission to be in that space. You may need a reason. You might need a white coat and a clipboard or something so you look like you're doing a survey. But yeah, there's lots of things you can do when you're a student. I'm just doing a 2-minute survey on people's interests. Could you spare a minute to tell me which of these programs you're more likely to be interested in trying? But these days we're bombarded with ideas and information and advertising. I mean, I have an email address where I get something like 40 spam a day, and I have to have a way of scanning through that and working out, is anything worth my attention or do I delete the lot? When you go to the station, there's advertisements all over the place. Maybe you read them all. Maybe some of them catch your eye and you read the content. When you're watching TV, you know, there's seems to be on some channels more advertisements than program. How do you know when to pay attention and when to go and get a coffee? The byline. There's got to be something that catches your attention.
Colour.
Okay, so it might be colour, it might be a word, it might be an image, but it's got to be something that makes a connection. That your unconscious mind says, hey, pay attention here for a moment. Gather a little more information. So today's task is to begin to think what would it be that might catch the attention of the people that you would like, or that your students would like in their classes. How do you get that initial connection? And then one of the things that we're inclined to do is try and explain what the Feldenkrais method is. They don't actually care at this stage. But if we've caught their attention, what they want to know next is, well, what's in it for me? What benefit might I get out of coming to this thing, or at least continuing to read a little bit more? So catch their attention, describe some benefits, and then you can say what we're offering. Okay, 6 awareness through movement classes on Wednesday mornings. An opportunity to have a clearer sense of comfort when you walk. The ability to sit through a movie in comfort. Whatever it is that you're offering them that you think will make sense to the particular target group. And then you might want to go on and justify that, talk about other people's experience or how come it's helpful or the evidence or whatever. And then you'll finish up with what's known in the trade as a call to action. Call to action is...
Like a phone call.
Call phone number now. Book now to reserve your place. Very simple, but often it's forgotten. Scarcity is a great motivator. So that might be another issue in terms of thinking about your venue. Do you want a vast venue where you can cope with as many people as come, or do you want to advertise exclusivity, limited places, personal attention? Anyway, we'll leave that for the moment. Today's task is to think about, with your target groups, how might you grab their attention? What would be the benefit that they would make sense of? What are you going to offer them? And what would you like them to do about that? Pretty clear? Quite simple, but tricky.
It's like teaching Year 9 media studies.
It's very like teaching Year 9 media studies. It's exactly the same principle. So back in your little groups, you still got your sheets with those prompts on from the other day. And just focusing on those few aspects.